Hey teacher friends, welcome to Sutton Teacher Secondary. I am MarQuitta. Welcome. I'm excited to see you. I'm glad you are here and I am so excited to make this video. So I'm starting a new series about all the things that you don't learn when you learn to be a teacher, right? Like when you're going to teacher school and you're going through your program, all the little tips and tricks that no one teaches you that you eventually learn after you've been teaching 3 years plus. I'm telling you now, because I want you to be successful. I want you to thrive. I want you to have joy as you're teaching. So I'm sharing. I know you're gonna love it. So go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss out. It's gonna be a fun series, quick, short, snappy videos. I'm gonna try to keep it short. You know, I like to talk, y'all. All right, so today we're doing our new teacher checklist. If you're within your first 3 years, you are still a new teacher, you're still trying to figure it out. And so this is the checklist of things, like these are the things you need to do before you go back into the classroom. Or if this is your first time setting foot, these are things that you need to do. And it's a 7 list. It's got 7 things, but they move. Number 1, I want to first debunk a myth. So if you watch these videos all the time, the first thing they're going to tell you is, you're a new teacher, you do not need to be worried about your classroom. Do not sit here and think about all the decorations and themes and all that kind of stuff. And that is a lie. These are all the same teachers with tons of set up your classroom videos. No shade. I love the videos. I love them. I'm just saying, you do need to be worried about your classroom. Your classroom is a representation of you. Your classroom is where you're going to be getting work done. Your students walk in and when they see it, it tells them who you are as a teacher. And also, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time getting work done when there's like chaos around me and I haven't set up my space to be a good reflection of me and who I am and all of those things, right? So this is what I'm telling you. Set up your classroom, but keep it simple, right? Like you're not at the point where we're doing big old themes and rearranging and doing flexible seating and all of these like crazy things that you see on the feeds of Instagram and YouTube and all those kind of things. Keep it really simple, right? Make some nice, decent bulletin boards. Make them simple. Use like a fabric or some butcher paper from the school. Get you some nice borders. Hang up a few pictures that you like, buy some pre-made posters, right, that are things that you like. Don't worry about a theme or a color scheme. Just put up stuff you like, make sure it looks good and decent so that you are not spending too much time getting your classroom together. The second thing, I used to always do this, and honestly, I still do it, just not as formally, but that is creating a big goal for your classroom. So, and you know, sometimes you might hear there's like a big audacious, like a big hairy audacious big goal. So little thing about me, I did Teach for America, and that was one of the things in my 2 years of doing Teach for America that they always made us do was create a big goal for our year, right, for the classroom. And the reason why this is so great is it keeps your mind set on something, and if you're someone who wants to write down that big goal, it also helps students get an idea of like what their goal is. This is especially helpful if you're in a testing grade. So like 3rd grade is the first time they take like their big official state testing in most states. Not in every state, I guess, but in most states, right? So like knowing that they need to do well on the test is a big deal because that is a big deal for them, right? It is ultimately the goal, even though the goal is always to learn. We know that there's other things need to be checked off the list. I teach AP, and so now my goal is always to get as many students to pass the test as possible. So think about ultimately, what is your big goal for your students? What is your big goal for yourself? What are you working towards? Make sure you write it down somewhere. I even push you to write it somewhere so it's visible in the classroom to you and your students. Okay, so next on your checklist, number 3, you need to make sure that you map out your day or you map out your class period. So if you teach periods, like secondary classes, right, 6 through 12, or if you are teaching a whole day because you teach 1st through 5th or K through 5th, right, pre-K, all of that, elementary, then you need to make sure you map out what the day is looking like or what the period is looking like. So a schedule. So based on what you know about the school schedule, what you know about time periods, what you know about when you have your specials or when you have your planning time, all of those things. Get all of that information and then plan out what your day looks like. Or if it's a period, what each period looks like. Is there a warm up, and then there's a instruction, and then there's practice, and then there's independent, right? Like whatever, you need to make sure you plan out what that looks like, because you want to follow that consistent schedule just about every single day, and it connects to all these other things you're going to do later. So make sure you have all of that planned out. Once you have your day planned out, you've got your agenda for the day or for each class period, you want to then create systems for each part of your day. And that's why number 3 is so important, because everybody tells you you need to have systems, make systems, but you can't make systems if you don't know what's happening in your classroom. If you know that after the second round of reading instruction, after we do centers, that's when we take our class bathroom break. I'm channeling my used to teach first grade vibes. Then you know that you need to have a very special transition to go from centers to bathroom time, right? Because we go straight from cleaning up centers to getting in line to walking to the bathroom, whatever the case, right? Or if you know that you teach science, and so every Thursday, a part of your science class is having a lab, then you know that you need to have very specific systems related to lab time. Or if you know that the first 10 minutes of class is always silent independent reading, then you need to have a system for how students are going to grab their books, right? Or if they're going to have their books in their desk or whatever the case, right? So you can't create systems if you don't know what's happening in your class every day. So number 3's got to happen, so then you can spend some time really fleshing out your systems. All right, number 5. So once you figured out your day, once you figured out your systems, you need to figure out your discipline. When I say discipline, this includes how you want kids to sit. And if it were me, they all need to sit facing you. I'm going to do a video about that later, about seating in general. But your seating, what are your rules or expectations? I call them expectations because I teach seniors. The consequences for when you break those rules, make yourself have some very easy consequences, and think through all of the things, like think through completely worst case scenarios and think through things that are not a worst case scenario, right? Like for me, I teach seniors. If a senior cusses, I'm not going to be like, you have been kicked out of the room, and right? Like that's a very minor infraction. It happens a lot. How do I respond to that versus like a child cussing me out? Those are very different, right? A student cussing as they're talking to their friends or getting impassioned and answering a question versus a student getting mad at me and cussing me out. 2 different things. How do I handle both of those situations? Also, am I giving rewards? What is my process for rewards that is sustainable and hopefully free, right? How are you giving directions? What does all of this look like? How are you getting their attention? How are you stopping things, starting things, all of that? Yay, discipline. Next, now that you've got your classroom culture together, now you can start worrying about the learning. Because at the end of the day, we cannot learn if we do not have a sustainable and great classroom culture. So now that you have that ready, you are ready for number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, plan out your curriculum for the year. And when I say for the year, I do not mean every single day. I mean big picture, right? Like, what are we doing in August or September versus what's happening in June? How are you pacing things out so that you meet your big, hairy, audacious, wonderful goal? If you know that testing happens in April, then the bulk of your instruction needs to happen before then. And how are you going to pace that out, right? And then what are you going to do once testing's over? Because you don't want them to just sit there and twiddle their thumbs. So give yourself a plan. Plan out your curriculum, get your ideas together. Last thing you want to do, so number 7, boom! Number 7, then you want to plan the first day of school. And make sure you plan something fun, but also something that is going to get an introduction to you and your expectations, all of the things. Have a great first day. All right, y'all, you made it. Yes, and if this checklist helped you, and if you want this checklist, I actually have a hard copy for you with all of these wonderful questions to help you think through your first year in the classroom or first few years in the classroom. Yay! So all you have to do is make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you like the video, and leave me a little comment. Tell me how you like the video, tell me what you're looking forward to in your first year, or if something else you're thinking about related to this checklist, any of the things, let me know in the comments. And if you have not already gotten the memo, teach a friend. Hello, we're friends. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hello, do it now. And remember, as always, you are amazing. Bye.